to your regular podcast called Knowledge Empowers. As always, with you is me, Kat. 안녕하세요. Then we have Baruch.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we have Kolaj.
Dobré ráno, good morning, everyone.
Guys,
Yes.
last time, I don't mean like really last time, but last time we spoke about an emotion called fear. And I remembered when I was a teenager, I had, and I still like remember it, I had this huge anger in me. I don't know why I was angry, why I had it, but I just remember that all my teenage years, I was an angry teenager. But I have no idea like why. And even I pity people that were around me and literally had to deal with me. It had to be horrible. And I remember my aunt telling me, when you were 13, you were such a horrible kid. So how about today we discuss a little bit the emotion called anger?
No.
Do you feel angry now?
Hold on, I shouldn't start laughing. I should be like, what do you mean, no? So what is anger? Kolaj, tell us, what is anger?
An emotion.
Wow.
And that's the end of our podcast
Yeah.
for today.
Bye.
That's it. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
You're the most wisest person from emotional point of view. So why are we angry?
Well, the anger, the emotion comes from within our mind, usually. You know, it's amygdala who's triggering these emotions. And it's caused because your values are attacked. Your status, your autonomy, something within you is triggered, some of your experience, or something like that. And the response of your body is that I need to fight it. I need to fight for myself. I need to fight for my value. That's the thing here. And you want to overcome the situation in terms that you get aroused, you get this energy within you, and you're prepared to fight.
So sometimes I notice, well, anger and sadness, they are close to each other in terms of, it's not that they are similar, but some people, when they are triggered by same situation, one will become angry and another one will become sad. Or even in SAR model, they are both on that SAR model, right? Anger and sadness.
Sadness is in Kubler-Ross model. There is this anger and sadness, and because there is loss, they're dealing with loss.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So-
it could happen that you go either through anger or through sadness. And it's because if you can't fight it and if you can't gain it, you will be sad because you are not able to, because you're dealing with loss. You lost something, you know, you lost your privilege or something. So you need to deal with
So
that.
there is this element of helplessness. Like that's why we don't become angry and instead become sad. Is that why?
When it comes, we were talking also about the change model. So yeah, if you can't get it, the only way, if you don't receive something, there is this opposite that you're losing something. So you know, it's connected. Like if I can't fight for it, if I'm not able to get it for any purpose, any reasons, I'm gonna lose it. So I need to deal with the loss itself.
So why was Kat angry when she was 13?
When I was
know.
teenager, it started like from 13 until, I don't know, 17.
Maybe Kat can answer.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Could it just be hormones in this case?
Could. I literally right now, I only still remember just the feeling. Like I was angry.
There could be various reasons. I mean, there is this Trico's theory, which talks about 4 goals of misbehavior. And one of them is that you want to get revenge or that you want to get the attention. One of them is attention. The other one is revenge, a power struggle, and learned helplessness or like unable to do something. And we talked about it in a previous episode. So it could be that you remember some of those stages when you were fighting with the teacher and you were fighting for the power, or with the adult that I'm better, at this moment, or I know better. So it could be one of those power struggles or revenge that somebody did something to you and you were trying to repay them. So that could be the anger there. But looking back at the 13, that could be anything basically.
Too far away. Can't remember. Baruch, when was the last time you were angry?
Last week. I honestly feel like this is my angriest
Period.
This is my angriest period of my life. I don't know if it's because of COVID. I feel like everybody's going crazy, and it's it's making me mad. Really, you can already hear it in my voice. Like, so yeah, I feel like sometimes, as you said, maybe like challenging status quo, but I feel maybe my anger comes from a feeling that I'm like becoming too far away from other people. Like I'm kind of being removed from the people that I thought I knew, but I don't anymore. So yeah, it's kind of like my world is changing. I cannot accept it. So I'm becoming angry. So I think that's why.
Collage, be careful. Next time she starts screaming at us.
No, actually, like you two guys are the only people that I feel like are at the same path as me, or at least like very close. So,
Time to change that.
let's go.
I can totally imagine that suddenly Baruch appears on every monitor of us, and he's like, strangling us.
With a hockey mask on my face.
Oh no!
With a machete.
So, Collage, when was your last time that you were angry?
Well, it depends on the level of anger we are talking about, because it could go from annoyance to like a rage, a fury. When we are talking about the annoyance, it's like 3 times a day, 4 times a day, because you come across something which is annoying you, like, okay, like Baruch said, like, this is stupid, and that's already anger telling me like, okay, this is my value, and I need to fight for it, or I need to overcome it, or something like that, to deal with it in a way. So that's why it's natural for me to feel anger, and it's natural for anyone to feel angry at a certain degree. It's a great motivation for us to do something, like to fight for ourselves or to improve things. So for that 3-4 times a day, why not? Yesterday it was like 3-4 times, I think. Why not? I mean, that's natural reaction.
So before we move to some kind of solutions how to handle anger, is there anything else that we need to understand about this emotion?
Well, do you consider anger a good or bad emotion?
I know this is a tricky question. we already got this one, so I won't get tricked. But honestly, depends, because at least in my case, I think it depends on how I handle it. Most of the time, I don't handle it that well, or well, depends. If I just try to suppress it, is it good reaction? Is it healthy? Is it good, bad? I don't know.
When you're talking about suppression, what do you mean by that?
I try to ignore that or I try to forget that I have that feeling of anger.
I'm thinking of situation when I'm driving a car, when I get angry of other drivers. And in that case, I see my anger as a good thing, because I will start swearing or do things inside of my car, but I don't do anything, let's say, worse than that. you know, for example, would bump with my car to the other, or would get out of the car and start beating the other driver, you know, like that, because I can release the anger inside of my car, not harming anyone, just like really releasing it. I think it's good versus what Baruch said, suppressing it. And if you do it for a longer period of time, it might have some health effects, maybe weakening your heart or, you know, whatever. So there I see it as a good thing in a safe environment inside of my car. Unless there is someone with me in the car, I need to listen to that. But good or bad. I see more if I go through my past that I don't get angry that fast as I used to, because of all the knowledge that I gained, and I'm applying it, you know, if situation like that happen. And I if I do self-reflection, I would say, interestingly, or interesting enough, I handled this situation this way, versus numerous years back, I would just like, you know, blow up. So then I feel proud of myself. So how much I progressed. So
it's funny, like for me, I get angrier faster than before because of the knowledge that I gained. So apparently it's not enough. So
and here we come, Baruch. What did you say? My name is Barbara. Do not call me Baruch. Uh-oh. And then you slowly crawl back. Yes, Kolach?
The funny thing is that when you're talking, that you are not triggered so easily. And the thing is that it sounds to me like one of the things we just described in these anatomy books, and that's first, all the input goes through the amygdala. So you hear things, see things, and amygdala does the emotional trigger. After all this input, only after, goes to prefrontal cortex. So it goes to the frontal part of your brain, where it can be processed on a rational level. So there is where the decision making is located, but it gets there in terms of seconds later. So if you learn how to postpone your emotional trigger for those 2 seconds, you give your prefrontal cortex 2 seconds to react, and you can reevaluate the situation, and then you will be exactly like, that's interesting that this is actually triggering within me, and I can decide how I'm going to react on that. And you can deal with the emotion in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Is this the only way to handle anger?
Like manage your amygdala, basically? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because amygdala is triggering
another way to manage.
What is the hormone that triggers when you, like, we know if you are stressed, it's adrenaline. What's anger? Do we know?
When you're stressed, it's cortisol mostly.
Oh, sorry, yeah, cortisol.
When you are angry, there is a combination of several catecholamines, and most of them are adrenaline and dopamine. Because you have dopamine is there for the motivation to get what you want. Mm-hmm. Adrenaline is to pump your body and prepare for all this arousal and fight and everything like that. So those are the two main parts of it.
So for me, the solution is and these two are very strong hormones, to do some hard physical thing. So either go running or start pulling some very heavy weights to get rid of those hormones to lower down the anger.
I thought you are going to suggest drugs as some are on a previous episode.
Well, yeah, drugs will stop you releasing those hormones. So yeah, that's a possibility, you know. I think that the medical prescriptions are possibilities for people who are in a constant arousal or in this really like short fuse, let's say, because it can lead to blood pressure problems and heart problems. So yeah, if you have this constant rage, but that's like clinical now, talking clinical rage. So yeah, there is a possibility for something like that, to stabilize you. When it comes to what you said, the exercises, I think that it can help you release some of the pressure, but it won't help you manage the anger at the moment. Like if your value is triggered, you will have a better punch or kick in this moment because you will be trained. But it can lower your general level of angriest. But when it comes to triggers, like, okay, Kat, this is not possible, or we want these benefits, your trigger will be still there, and you will be triggered, and your response will be strong as well. Still.
Yeah, I was like really talking about you are right now angry, what to do with that, but not on a long-term solution. How do you want to handle it if it appears again? So yeah.
So what would be the difference between suppressing anger and this kind of management?
Just don't suppress it. Suppressing, ignoring it is not good. Imagine it as a balloon. Like you are constantly blowing a balloon, you're putting air inside again and again and again. What will happen if you continuously put more and more air into it?
It bursts.
Yep. And that's basically what will happen with you as well. The same goes if the balloon is too big and suddenly something really sharp comes in, you blow, you burst. That's usually what happens if people suppress anger too much, and then something small comes and they totally turn into fury and rage, and you're looking like, what just happened here?
But it can be also not only that you behave in fury, but it can have the other effects, like suddenly you get a heart attack, or like these worst stuff. One is, of course, you can totally blow up, and suddenly people see like, whoa, I never seen her like in a rage. But it can also have a different kind of effect.
So the first step is to acknowledge it, and that's with every emotion. The first step is to acknowledge. I'm angry, I'm afraid, I'm stressed, I'm furious, whatsoever. Acknowledging is the first step to actually release the tension that's thing here, or to already start thinking about what I'm supposed to do next, or how to deal with the emotion. So suppressing it, like, oh, I don't feel angry, I don't feel sadness, because if you suppress one of the emotions, every other emotion will be suppressed. So suddenly, if you're suppressing anger, you can't be happy because you're suppressing one of the emotions, and that's not possible to balance so far, unfortunately. So acknowledging it, and then you go with the discussion. Okay, so I feel angry because and that gives you more and more control of how and what you want to do.
So this is basically a two-step process. If we had
it's much more steps, but for the most efficient is the first step. Any other step after is just additional value.
It's interestingly what you've said about acknowledge it or acknowledgement. When I just realized when we are on our motorbikes, and last time happened a situation when Michal is in front because he's the navigator and I'm at the back driving, and we are connected with this communicator, and he got angry on something on the road and he started to like swear. And I realized that I don't feel on motorbike, let's say, that comfortable as I'm in car. Like literally in car, it's like for me, everything is automatic because I keep driving for more than 22 years. But with motorbike, handling like where I need to like touch, what I need to do with my legs, hands, my brain, I need to watch other cars, that I get his emotion are sort of like mirrored on me, and it just makes it even worse for me to then handle. And I literally had to like, I acknowledged it, like, oh my God, I have this weird feeling. And then I had to ask Michal if he could stop doing that because it was too much for me to handle everything around, and then the emotion on top of that I am not in that level when I'm able to cope with it. And so he's now very careful. Like if he is angry, he rather turn off the communicator just so he can, blow it out, but not me hearing it. So it's very interesting. That was almost a situation where I really know how I acknowledged it, and what kind of emotions it triggered in me, and how difficult it was for me to then handle the whole situation with physically everything, the environment around, and the emotions. So it was a very interesting situation to observe. So it's a good thing to acknowledge those things.
Mm-hmm.
Safety first.
Don't become angry at the motorbike.
Yeah, and you've done more than just acknowledge it. Like you've started to find long-term solutions. Okay, so like how to break it off, how to tune it out, how to avoid the situation altogether, or just like if Michal is angry, take your time alone. Because emotions are catchy. You can catch anger, you can catch sadness, whatsoever. So yeah, go there, be there alone, self-regulate yourself, and then come back, because it's dangerous for us to be on these motorbikes being angry together. So yeah, that's totally normal.
So let's sum up some solutions. Baruch said 2 steps, but you then said there are 2 more steps. So one is acknowledge it, right?
And then all the other are bonus steps.
Yep. Like if you acknowledge it, if you do the first step, that's the best you can do, and anything else you do is just great. But if you can acknowledge it, it's the basic stepping stone for everything.
And I'm just gonna say one more thing, that if you are angry, please do not write emails in this stage, as we are in corporation. Save it and then come back to that email one day later and rewrite it, because at the end you would harm your own brand, and you don't want that. And also, if you sit in open space where other colleagues can see you and you are not able to really handle your anger, go outside, go leave, go for a walk. But because even if it's your current situation and you know how to handle it, it can harm your brand, and you don't want your colleagues to see it. Like, they can see you are mad, but leave the space, go outside, get rid of it, then come back.
Yeah, you need to remove yourself from the situation, from the visual audio input which triggered the emotion, and you need a break of about 20 to 30 minutes for the hormones to get actually outside of your body to stop reacting towards that. Otherwise, you will be still in the emotion. Also, it's helpful if you don't see or react to the same trigger again the same way. You will try to find something else, some other way how to respond, because you will end up in spiral that, oh, this is angry and I'm angry. Oh, this is angry and I'm angry. Oh, this is angry and I'm still angry, and you will be in the spiral.
Guys, if you have other solutions or strategies that you applied for your anger management, write us down in a comment. Let us know. We are super interested in others' solutions, because the more we share, the better human beings we can become. And with that, I'm gonna say Sugo hashasmida.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.